I'm Jenny Blackwood, a small-town mom of 4 who refused to settle for a life that didn't light me up. When everything felt uncertain, I didn't run back to a 9-to-5. I bet on myself. I took a simple idea and turned it into an almost 7-figure business my first year, all while being a mom first. Now I'm here to help you trust your own power, chase the dream that keeps tapping your shoulder, and build a life that feels like you. This is Girl, Why Not You?
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another exciting, riveting, life-changing episode of Girl, Why Not You? I, of course, am your host, Jenny Blackwood, and today's episode is for the woman who has been playing small, overthinking everything, or questioning if she's really enough. How many of you are doing that? Be honest. Because the truth is, the life you want doesn't come from fitting in. It comes from deciding I am done freaking shrinking myself. And today's guest is the definition of that decision. Shannon Malone DeBenedictis is a 2-time Emmy Award-winning filmmaker. No big deal, right? A story coach and the founder of Paddlin Creative, where she helps women and brands step into their voice and tell powerful stories that actually move people. She's worked with Netflix, Disney Plus, National Geographic, alongside names of people like, I don't know if you've heard of him, James Cameron. But what matters most isn't just what she's built. It's who she became to actually build that. Because Shannon didn't just create success. She created a life where she is fully, and I mean fully, unapologetic in who she is. And now she helps other women do the same thing through storytelling. Shannon, I am so excited to have you here today.
Thank you. Thank you. Wow. Can you be my buddy all the time? I love it. Let's do it.
Yes, I can.
Okay.
I would love that. I'll just follow you around and tell you how awesome you are. Woo! I would love that. But seriously, I mean, reading through your resume is like, whoa, you've done some stuff, my friend. Some very, very cool stuff in your life. So I am so happy that you can share that with everybody today. But here's the deal. I want to go back for a second. I want to rewind here. You've built this incredible career that's Emmy-winning. You've worked with Netflix, all of the things. But let's take it back even further. What did the version of you look like before all of that, when you were still trying to fit into all these expectations?
Yeah, that earlier version was someone who, I've been heavy my whole life. I don't know of a time where I wasn't heavy. Even though I was active, I was like a running, jumping, climbing kid and played every sport under the sun, but still was a heavy woman. And because of that, I had been told my whole life and actually believed that I was trying to do everything to make myself small. That, don't take up too much space on the sidewalk. If it's a crowded table, sit to the side. Don't go to happy hours. Don't go to places where you're going to feel a little too exposed. And so I did that for a really long time. That doesn't mean I wasn't just totally like, pedal to the metal, like working. I mean, I worked and worked and worked and succeeded. But at the same time, there was a part of me that was making myself very small because I was doing everything I could to diminish or try to take away from the fact that I was a big woman. That's who I was. And
I'm going to tell you, for anybody who's watching YouTube, she's a beautiful woman. I'm not looking at you as a big woman. I'm looking at you as a beautiful woman. Yeah. Sorry, keep going.
Yeah. No. And so a lot of that was kind of shaping who I was and how I approached things. And then, everybody kind of, I hope most people, and this is what I want to help women realize, is you have that moment where you go, wait a minute, what am I doing? Hold on a second. And I had a very key moment where a colleague of mine basically told me point blank that he was shocked at kind of the comments and how people treated me because I was a fat woman. What? And I went, oh my God, I thought I was hiding. I thought I was getting away with it. I thought it was going to be, I was doing okay. And I was like, well, wait. I am a fat woman. That's who I am. And fat is not a derogatory term. It's just a descriptive term. It's who I am. And that kind of made a switch in my life of saying, you know what? I'm going to not try to fit in and try to do this. I'm just going to be who I am and embrace who I am and accept it because it's just that's the reality.
Yeah. How did that impact your confidence at that time?
It shook it a little bit, but, I always knew that if I worked really, really hard and I put my head down that, I'd get some recognition. But I noticed that once I stopped worrying about that, once I stopped, to quote the movie Four Weddings and a Funeral, I started wearing all the colors of the rainbow and more, and dressing how I wanted and doing my hair how I wanted and just being me.
Yeah.
I got more attention, and that would build up my confidence even more. And so it was a real good turning point to say, no, look, I know I'm enough. And why am I going to make myself small? Why am I shrinking when there's no reason to shrink? I should just embrace who I am.
Absolutely, sister. I am, I know we all have our struggles. We all have things that we pick ourselves apart about. And, I hate that you felt like other people were doing the same thing. But what I love is that you didn't let anything make you feel small. You were like, actually, I'm going to come be a total badass and make all of you look like, sorry, I'm going to say it, losers, because that's what they are if they were making you feel that way.
And also, I think that the thing is that there's spaces that make you conform. There's spaces that you're going to have to conform. If that's not your space, go find the space where you can go embrace your weird and be yourself. And that's exactly what I did, is I found an environment, I found colleagues, I found a business partner that was like, I love your weird. And I'm like, I love your weird. And we took off. Our company took off. We meshed and it did great. And it was, oh, you know what? I don't need to put myself in that box. I don't even want to be in that box anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Finding the right people, the right tribe. I mean, it's everything, and I think we talk a lot on the show about alignment, feeling aligned, or what it feels like to be out of alignment. So I think that once you were like, you know what, I'm going to find my people and find my place, you really found your purpose, which is so cool. I hope every woman gets to have that type of moment, where they stop trying to fit in and they're like, you know what, I'm good enough exactly how I am, and I'm going to figure out how to thrive as me. Not the me that, I think everybody else wants me to be. So was that the moment, like when you decided I'm done trying to fit in, I'm choosing myself, like I'm going to choose this other. So tell me about that. What did that look like? What was this group of people that you embraced and took off with?
Well, I had been working in a network for a very long time. And working in a network as a commissioner, I was taking pitches and helping get things greenlit inside a network. But that's a very safe job. It's a very people, the golden handcuffs. And I said, if I really want to do what I want to do and kind of make my mark and make projects and test myself, I had to go out. I had to go out and join a production company and find people that I could create with. And that's what I found with Brian Armstrong at Red Rock Films. Is we started a very tiny company, and we were like working in a basement. And then after, then we got a few commissions and we got more, and we were very much ourselves. We were totally like saying, hey, this is who we are. And we're not going to be like, we're not like that corporate or stiff British upper lip, a whole deal. We are American. We're I'm a sports junkie, it all worked out. And then slowly it built, and we won our first Emmy for Secrets of the Whales, working with James Cameron and Sigourney Weaver. And it was a fabulous experience. And I wore this incredibly beautiful golden dress because I was not going to wear all black. I had been told to wear all black all my whole life. And I'm like, no, I'm going to wear a dress that's going to match a statue. I'm going to win, even though I'm not supposed to do that, And then we won a second one and we grew. And then I said, you know what? I want to challenge myself even more. I want to put myself out there. And that's when I started Paddlin Creative, because I want to work on different types of projects. I want to consult. I want to help people, because I really love mentoring people. I really love working with people and watching them just blossom. And I could do that on my own. And so that was the other leap that I took, was starting my own company.
Wow. Did you ever, like when you were little girl Shannon growing up, like did you ever think to yourself, you know what, everybody, I'm going to win an Emmy someday? Was that ever on your radar?
No, I wanted to win an Oscar. I'm not going to lie. I mean, I think every person... There's still time, and maybe we'll take Secrets of the Whales and make it into a musical, and I'll win a Tony and then go for the full EGOT or something. But happening. I mean, we laughed. I mean, I think every kid who gets into filmmaking, gets into TV or whatever, we've always it's we have those films that we love. We have those things that inspired us. And what inspired me were great films. I'm a TV junkie. I'm a film junkie. And so, there was always that kind of little bit of dream. But then I found that I had a real talent in documentaries. I had a real talent of telling true stories and conveying that to people. And so that was a real joy to discover that. Did I ever expect to be on a podium, on a stage, accepting an award and taking that opportunity to point at Nicole Byer from making it of like, I love you because I think you're so awesome, doing that? No. And that was fantastic. That was absolutely amazing. So it was a surreal moment, but a moment that I absolutely reveled in and enjoyed.
That is so awesome. What's it like on the inside? You're working with Netflix, Disney Plus, all these big names, people, everything. Like, for people who may never make it in on the inside, give us a peek behind the curtain.
Behind the curtain is just a lot of normal people who work really, really hard and are very good at their job and understand why people succeed and why shows succeed and sometimes take risks and sometimes they don't. There is pressure to, when you're working with celebrities or you're working with famous people, certain etiquette and certain things that you want to make sure you behave. You want to make sure that you follow protocols. A famous thing of a person who wanted to get me fired because I didn't arrange a car service for a 1-block ride, and okay, that's just kind of
everybody needs to calm down over there.
Yes, needs to calm down a little bit. But I think when you find these people in general, look, we all love making films. We all love telling stories, and so when you connect over that, that's part of it. One of my favorite memories is I was directing Sigourney Weaver for Planet Earth. I worked on the U.S. version of Planet Earth, and I was directing her narration session. And she was in the booth, and it was a scene where the polar bear was trying to get up on the ice floe after getting in the fight with the walrus. And she did the read. I'm in the booth, and she goes, "Shannon, did you like that?" And I didn't say anything. She's like, "Shannon, are you there?" And I was like, "I'm so sorry. That scene makes me cry every single time." And she goes, and she's like, "It makes me cry every time too." And so we bonded over this incredibly emotional moment in this documentary series. And so that's when you have those things, it's like, she's just an amazing artist and incredibly talented who felt the same emotions that I did. And that's just fantastic.
That is absolutely fantastic. And as you're naming all these things that you've been a big part of, I'm like, I know exactly what you're talking about. Those are a big deal. Those are really, really cool. So here you are, you're kind of having growth in this industry. You're doing big things. You're winning Emmys. But then you decide, you know what? My real passion, like you've mentioned a minute ago, my passion is in helping people tell their stories. And like for you kind of had an aha of like, okay, love what I'm doing, but what does my next phase of this look like? Where do I want to take this? We all have to sit back and ask ourselves that question. I don't care what it is that you're doing. We always sit back and go, okay, this is working. This is working really well. And I like it and I'm good at it. But is this it? Is this where my story ends or where do I take it from here? So you mentioned your creative company called Paddlin. Please tell us, you get this idea. What gave you the action steps of like, all right, this is what this looks like. This is how I'm going to make it my dream become real life.
Yeah, I had been approached by a couple of companies asking to consult on some films or give recommendations or co-produce. And it gave me a lot of variety. I was doing very different types of projects ranging from, one about a conservation effort in Mongolia to discrimination against minorities in animal rescue and animal welfare groups. So there was a good kind of mix. And as an independent, I could have this mix in my life.
Yeah.
But I also wanted to talk to people. And so I wrote an essay, got published on LinkedIn, my blog, and the whole deal about what it was like to be a plus size woman in entertainment. And I had all these women come to me out of the woodwork, talk about their experiences of being shunned, being just comments made to them, being made to feel small, all these people. And I said, you know what? I'm in a good position where I'm at an age where I believe that this idea of being in one career your whole life, doing one thing your whole life, that's just not how my brain works. I am fascinated and interested in so many different things. and think we can become different things as we get older. And I'm like, I'm at another stage where I want to do this because I don't see people like me out there. And if I can talk to people about my experience and how you can be your best self to not shrink and live unapologetically, then maybe that boosts them to be, the next Emmy winner, the next Oscar winner, the next fabulous author, because they'll see someone who looks like them. And so that's where I made this leap into fully unapologetic, doing public speeches about it, doing workshops about it, et cetera, because it was a real need of saying, you know what, I'm not seeing a lot of people who look like me out there. But we do exist, and let's get out there and show that, it doesn't matter if you're a size 2 or you're a size 20. You are fabulous. You are absolutely fabulous.
That is honestly, I love hearing you tell us all these stories because it does. It's a big reminder of it's like we don't have to fit in a box, and I think that it's like a dog-eat-dog world out there. And I think you found this real purpose in wanting to help other people through a struggle that you had experienced yourself, which what a beautiful thing to do, and to help other people get past that and to find success like you did, and in a way of like, you can be anything you want to be. It doesn't matter how you look. It doesn't matter how you talk. It doesn't matter any of that. You just have to want to do it, dream it. You can do it, right? So I love that. So talk to me more about Paddlin. I mean, give me an example of you start this agency, you're bringing in clients. What's like a really memorable story you can tell us about a certain client that you've had over the years?
I was working with one woman who was in the middle of transitioning into she was looking for another field. And she was feeling very, very trapped in what she had done. She was very proud of her avenue, and she was a fixer. She was a person who worked a lot in true crime, and she was great at finding stories and digging up stories. And she thought, but this is all I know how to do. I don't know what else I can do. Yeah. And I was like, well, let's talk about it. And I said, tell me some stories. Just tell me that. And she conveyed to me about tracking down the family of a murder victim who were living off the grid, who had no phone, had no electricity, and all the steps she went to solve that problem. And I went, oh my God, do you realize what an incredible problem solver you are? Anybody would be blessed to have you on your team. Blessed. You need to focus on that you solve impossible problems.
Wow.
And she did. She refocused everything she did. And that just, it seems very small, but it's not small to her. It's not small to how that changes her life, how that changes the position of her life. So I'm thrilled with some of the things I do. I said, right now, this film, Brown and Bonded, about discrimination in animal welfare, is doing tours in film festivals. I'm very proud of that. I'm working on a short film right now about 1951's walkout in Farmville, Virginia, that was part of Brown versus the Board of Education.
Wow.
So I'm still doing these creative things, but then I get to work with these incredibly talented people and help them achieve what they want to achieve. And that is just as fulfilling. And so I love that my company, as I said, it may seem like it's a little scattered. It may seem like, I produce, I EP, I consult, I do workshops, I do personal consulting. But that's also what I am. And that's what a lot of us have to offer. And if I can just offer people to help them tell their stories, that's what I want to do.
That is so cool. I am fascinated by you, and I love this so much. So I really, really do. I love this story. What do you feel like from women that you're currently working with or have worked with in the past? What do you see the most, like when it comes to their voice and their story? What are they struggling with the most?
I think they struggle the most with two things. One is not fully recognizing the impact that they have. I think that, and I heard this with a previous guest, I heard this on your program, that many women are told to downplay our achievements. We're told to downplay our successes. That's just kind of what we do. And the reality is those successes are things that we need to talk about, we need to put forward, and we need to brag about. We need to go out there and the joke about like have the confidence of like a young white dude. Yeah, totally. I mean, that's something to think about. Like
I actually love that.
do tend to kind of devalue that. I think the other thing is that I think that, and I see this, is take that chance.
Yeah.
Just go for it. Because I think we're like, well, we're not going to get it. What's going to happen? And it's like, well, what's the worst that can happen? Go ahead, do the reach, do the chance. Go ahead and give it a shot. One thing I love to encourage people to do is, despite graduating with an undergrad degree in art and whatnot, is there's certain art forms I am horrible at. I mean, I am just awful. Like, I did a mosaic class. It was a disaster, right? But I had fun. I did it. And sometimes going and doing something and failing and still having fun, it's the journey that you do. So go ahead, do that reach, try for something. Try it.
Yes.
What's the worst that can happen? And that gives you confidence saying, you know what? I did that. I applied for that. Even if I'm only 50% qualified for the job. Yeah, go ahead. Because that 50% may be exactly what they're looking for. And it boosts you up. So I think that's two things that women really, really struggle with. And a lot of it is just, it's okay. Stop shrinking. Yeah. Just do it. Go ahead. It's okay.
It's okay. I love that you said, it's about the journey, guys. That's really what it's all about. You don't have to be perfect every time. It doesn't have to be a win to be a success. In it sounds like both of our opinion, right? I mean, anything that you're experiencing is giving you growth along your journey. It's pushing you into new places. You're meeting new people. You're learning new things. You're learning more about yourself. That is so important in this life journey, right? I think as we make ourselves smaller, we just think like, oh, well, this is my life. These are the things that I've chosen for myself. This is what I do. I wake up, I eat my breakfast, I take my kids to school, I go to work, whatever it is. But it's like so many of us just like, we stop there. And then all of a sudden, kids, if you're a mom, kids grow up, they leave the coop, and then all of a sudden it's like, who am I now? It's this big shock. But, you don't have to like pick one lane. You can have multiple lanes. We were joking before the podcast started that we both have popcorn brain because yes, like we find things that we like, we're good at it, we do it, but then we're like, what's next? What's next? What's next? And it's like, I like doing that. I feel like it's diversification, right? We're diversifying the things we like, the things we're interested in, and we're seeing what actually sticks. And what doesn't? And then when it doesn't stick, we move the freak on, right? So I love that. It's about the
Let me add
journey,
one thing.
everybody.
I just heard this in the most recent season of Shrinking, and it really stuck with me, right? There's a scene where they talk about, like, one of the characters says, I'm so scarred. And the other character says, to be a certain age and have no scars on you, what life would you have led if you didn't have scars on you? And I think it's funny that, women like to joke. We joke that like chicks dig scars. It's like you have a scar and you see a guy or you see something. It's like, look at the scars, something like that. But sometimes, particularly women, it's like we get in these things, we get in these bubbles, and we don't get any potential for scars. But those scars are moments, they're journeys, and they help you go on this incredible trip through this planet, you know? And it's not, you may have some regrets, but man, sometimes those things that you do, it's not regrets. It's an experience that helps you become a more vibrant 360 degree, all the colors of the rainbow person. So, it's good to have scars. It's okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, it's good to have scars. That is so true. And it's like, who would we be without those scars? You're right. We would be a blank canvas, and a blank canvas is quite boring, actually. So
Quite boring.
We have to get those scars, ladies. I interview a lot of really, really amazing women on this show, yourself included, Shannon. And a common theme that I see is that everybody started from, let's see how this works out. I'm going to try this. Let's take a risk. Let's take a chance. This looks kind of fun. Let me see what it turns into. Everybody started there. Not one person was successful out of the gates. You know what I mean? It's like you have to have a dream or a desire. You have to take action. You have to give yourself an opportunity. The biggest, best, most amazing entrepreneurs out there are the ones that take the biggest risks. And it's not because they all work. Many of them don't. But you have to try. You have to give yourself that opportunity. So I couldn't agree with you more.
Exactly.
I think that's what's so powerful about your work, too, and what you're doing with Paddlin is you're not just teaching perfection. You're teaching people how to show up as themselves, right? So you said you don't have all the answers. None of us do. You just have the confidence to fail. So can you unpack that a little bit for us?
Yeah, I don't. I think anybody who says they have all the answers, I'm going to raise an eyebrow at them.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not, that's false confidence. And but I think it's trying something, even when it's terrifying. And I'm not saying like go throw yourself out of an airplane. I'm saying like wear that outfit that you want to wear that maybe you didn't think that you should wear, right?
Yeah.
And think about that moment of that brief of like, oh, I'm doing it, and channel into that emotion, channel into that excitement, channel into that joy that you have. And that joy is infectious, and you can ride on that for a really, really long time. And I think that's really, really important for people to remind themselves of. I work with women about body image, and, one thing in my career and your career as well is we have a lot of photographs taken of ourselves. We have a lot of things like being on this podcast, being in this. And I could be like, in the old days, or sometimes I'd be like, oh my God, I didn't get enough sleep last night. My hair is not completely straight. What's going on? But then I'll channel back and I'll go, you know what? I'm having a really good time. I'm laughing. I'm smiling. This is a delightful time. I'm not even thinking about my hair when I remember the time that I have. I'm channeling that. And I think that's just a really, really important philosophy to take towards life is stop. Don't worry about that. Be joyous. Find that joy.
I couldn't agree with you more. Looking back on all the times that we overthought everything or beat ourselves up, it's robbing us of joy. And so just letting it go and just accepting things for what they are. I just started reading the book, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, because it's hard. It's hard not to, right? Like, it's like you care about everything too much, but it robs you of your joy. So, yes, I think that is fantastic. So what do you think, as we're getting to the end of this here, what is one belief? If you could come up with one belief that you think women should let the hell go of, what would that be?
Oh, that's a good one. That's a really good one.
You're like, I have so many.
There's so many. A lot fewer people. In fact, most people don't care what you look like. They care about what you're made of.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think women, we worry a lot what other women think and other men think and all those things. And we put a lot of effort and energy into that. And once you kind of get over that, take all that energy and put it towards something just more positive in your life, more joyful and gleeful in your life. It's not, I work out at the gym all the time. And, I go to the gym 3 times a week. When you let go that you realize nobody cares about what you look like, when you don't care what people think, boy, you have a lot better time. A lot better time. That's, I think, is one myth. Yep.
You sure do. Stop overthinking, everybody. Stop doing that. You're right. I love that. And everything that you've said today has been so powerful, really. I mean, I am very inspired by you. I know every single person listening to this you've done beautiful things with your life. And guess what? I know for a fact, you ain't done. You're not done. This is probably still very much in the beginning. We're going to be here when you win that Oscar because I know that you're going to do that. So we'll be here. And you know what? I'm going to wear this, my bird shirt for you. We were joking.
I appreciate that. Yeah.
If you're watching YouTube, I have a very interesting shirt that has maybe an entire bird around the sleeve that I'm flying.
It's very hypnotic. It's very hypnotic. Yes.
It's very Morticia Adams of me today, less than it is couture, I'm thinking. Yeah. But thank you so much for being here. I want you to tell everybody today what kind of opportunity they may have to work with you. How could you help somebody listening to this podcast today?
Absolutely. Feel free to reach out to me. You can go to my website, paddlincreative.com. You'll also find me on social medias as well. If you want to set up a consultation with me, I give one free appointment at the very beginning, but also you can see links to my work and follow me on social media. You'll see exactly what I'm working on right now.
I love it. And I will be following you.
I'm going to be following you.
I'm going to follow her around and tell her how awesome she is all the time.
Exactly.
I love it. So guys, everybody listening to this, if you saw yourself in Shannon's story in any way, this is your reminder, okay? You don't need permission. You don't need to have it all figured out for the love of God, and you just need to stop shrinking yourself and start choosing you at the end of the day. And I think that's exactly why Shannon's work and what she's building with Paddlin really, truly matters so much. So if you feel like a conversation with Shannon could really help you elevate your life and yourself, get on it, people. Okay? Shannon, I could not have been more thrilled to have you here today. It has been an honor. I cannot wait to watch what you do in your future. Thank you so much. And everybody, take her story, hold it tight. You don't have to shrink yourself. Be big because you are amazing. Everybody, girl, why not you? Have a great day, everyone.
If something in this episode made you sit up a little straighter or dream a little bigger, don't ignore it. That's your future nudging you. I'm living proof that you can start messy, start scared, start in the worst timing, and still create something beautiful. Thank you for listening to Girl, Why Not You? Now go take one small step towards the life you've been craving. Hit subscribe, leave a review if you feel called, and share this with someone who's ready for more.